Have you ever had a program crash out of nowhere, right when it seemed to be running perfectly fine? That's one of the most frustrating things a developer can face, and it's exactly why learning about exceptions in Java is so important. If you want to write code that doesn't just work, but works reliably, you must understand what exceptions are, why they happen, and how to handle them. Without this knowledge, your applications will eventually crash in production, and that could mean angry users, failed projects, or missed job opportunities. So in this lesson, we're diving deep into exceptions, but before we get there, we first need to understand the bigger picture, the different types of errors your program can run into. Step 1. Understanding errors. In programming, errors fall into three main categories: compile time errors, logical errors, runtime errors, where exceptions live. Let's go through them one by one. Compile time errors. Compile time errors are the easiest to spot and fix. Imagine you write system.println. With a capital P, your IDE immediately shows a red underline. If you compile, you'll see an error like, cannot find symbol, method print. This is a compile time error. The compiler is telling you there's a problem before your program even runs. Most compile time errors are syntax issues, misspelled keywords, missing semicolons, or undeclared variables. They're straightforward to solve because the compiler literally points you to the exact line where the issue is. Logical errors, aka bugs. Logical errors are a bit trickier. Your program compiles, it runs, but it gives the wrong result. Imagine you write a program to add 2 plus 2. You expect 4, but your program prints 5. There's no error message, no crash, just the wrong answer. These are logical errors or bugs, and they often require testing and debugging to catch. Developers write unit tests and run applications with different inputs specifically to catch these kinds of mistakes before shipping their code. Runtime errors, where exceptions come in. Now, runtime errors are where things get serious. These happen while your program is running, after it has successfully compiled, and they often stop your program entirely. For example, say you wrote a program that opens a file called data.txt. Yesterday it worked perfectly, but today the file was accidentally deleted. When you run the program, it tries to open the file, can't find it, and throws a runtime error, crashing the program. And here's why this matters: in many cases, you can't just restart the program and ignore the problem. Imagine this happening in critical software. A medical machine scanning a patient suddenly stops working. An airplane's navigation software crashes mid-flight. A multiplayer game freezes just as you're about to win a tournament. In situations like these, runtime errors can't just be ignored. That's why we need to handle them gracefully. What are exceptions? In Java, runtime errors are represented as exceptions. Think of an exception as a signal your program throws when something unexpected happens: dividing by 0, accessing an invalid array index, or opening a missing file. If you don't handle the exception, your program stops running. But if you do handle it, you can decide what happens. Show a helpful error message. Retry the operation. Use a fallback value. Or exit cleanly without a crash. This is what separates beginner code from professional software, not whether errors happen, but how the program responds to them. Preventing exceptions before they happen. Of course, the best way to deal with exceptions is to prevent them whenever possible. This is where defensive programming comes in. For example, before dividing two numbers, check if the denominator is 0. Before opening a file, check if it exists. By adding these checks, you can stop many exceptions before they ever occur. Why this matters for your career. If your goal is to land a job as a Java developer, this is not just a nice-to-have skill. Companies expect you to write code that is stable, reliable, and user-friendly, not code that crashes when something unexpected happens. Knowing how to handle exceptions is what allows you to build software that people can trust. Key takeaways. Let's summarize what we've learned so far. Compile time errors are syntax mistakes caught by the compiler. Logical errors are bugs that produce wrong results and require testing to catch. Runtime errors are the most dangerous because they crash your program, and that's where exceptions come in. In the next video, we'll look at how to actually handle exceptions in Java step by step using tools like try, catch, and finally. You'll learn how to keep your program running even when something goes wrong, a skill that separates hobby coders from professional developers. So stick around, hit that like button if this was helpful, and subscribe so you don't miss the next lesson. Your future projects, and your future users, will thank you.